Hello, you're back with Beatle. We are back on Survivor IO. Today we're going to be doing a showcase of the Shotgun. Excellent +2. There it is. Recently got it in a chest. Upgraded it as much as I can. Got it to the sort of level 2. And we'll just jump into a trial mode. We'll go to the 10 country. In fact, let's go to 11. I'm warning just so it's a bit trickier. But should still be okay. So I've used the shotgun once off screen, and I'd sort of, I suppose, disregarded it as not a good weapon. As you can see, it shoots quite slowly. There it is, in fact. So it +3 bullets and adds damage. That is what every upgrade of the shotgun does. So I had initially sort of discounted it. As you can see, it shoots relatively slow. Bullets do quite a lot of damage, as you would expect with a shotgun. But given how slow it shoots, I thought it wouldn't be the best upgrade, but I wanted to do a video of it because if you haven't seen the shotgun, it's got a very interesting Evo upgrade. Potentially could rival the light chaser, certainly depending in which mode you use it. Let's go for the Type A drone here, why not? And it would also be interesting, I suppose, in the Ender's Echo. So I am going to do some comparison videos in the future. But as you can see here, what the shotgun does, obviously takes a while to shoot. The reload bar is just below my health. And it sort of shoots, I suppose, in a spread of bullets that travel as far as you can run, relatively quick, and do quite a bit of damage. And obviously each upgrade you get up to level 5 adds 3 bullets and adds damage. Relatively similar, I suppose, to the revolver. Let's get the other drone just so we can get the destroyer. And so I wanted to at least first do a bit of a showcase of what the shotgun is, what the Evo upgrade is, and do a damage comparison against the other weapons that I'll be using in this trial mode. Just so we can sort of see how it does there. There it is again, shotgun, +3 damage and +3 bullets and adds damage. So the shotgun itself, I don't think it would rival the light chaser, possibly even some of the others in the main chapter mode or the trial modes like this. Let's get the cooldown, just because I actually think that really does help the shotgun. Obviously, the higher the cooldown, or the slower a gun shoots, the more the cooldown will affect it. 8% of 10 seconds is quite a lot compared to 8% of a second. So that's why I think the cooldown really does help the shotgun. Let's see if we can get it here, hopefully, and we do once. So we will get 3 more bullets and add more damage to it. But I think the shotgun itself, without the evolution upgrade, would struggle against some of the harder stages, where there's a lot of enemies coming at you, and the reload time probably just isn't quick enough to be able to kill all the enemies, especially if they're coming at you from all angles. So I don't think it would be the best there, but that's where I think hopefully the Evo upgrade may come in, and I don't want to sort of spoil it if you haven't seen what that is. Let's get the experience gain there, so hopefully try and level up a bit quicker to get some of the Evo upgrades. There it is. So high power bullet, attack +10% gives us the shotgun. I really like the fact that it is the attack +10%, with some of the others where you've got to get the Ronin, which is the body armor. I'd never get the body armor. Let's just get the attack cooldown there. I'd never get the body armor in a run unless it has to give you the Evo upgrade of a weapon. Whereas the attack +10% I generally would get regardless of if it gave me an Evo weapon. So the fact that I don't have to get an unnecessary upgrade to get the evolution of this, I think is really good. Let's get the Guardian there, just because it's another tech part weapon. And we'll just collect some of the gems here, try and get another level up. I think we only need 2 more levels with the shotgun, and we're back at Evo stage. Nothing there. Do I refresh? I do. I got lucky, and we'll get it. So in fact, I can get the Evo upgrade in the next upgrade, hopefully, if it is there. It should be able to give me. And there it is, Gatling, Machine of Massacre, and it really does live up to its name. As you can see, it's pretty much the opposite of what a shotgun is. So I think they do that on purpose, where the shotgun might not be the best weapon, but then you get given this Gatling. So if you're on a stage that is tricky, if you can survive until you get the shotgun upgrade, until you can get this Gatling, it really does help. Nothing really there. We might have to get the lightning, unfortunately, but I don't think we'll struggle now. We've got the Gatling anyway, and wow, I mean, as you can see, nothing can get close there. That is just a really impressive weapon. Let's get the Guardian. We'll just keep upgrading every weapon that we have. We'll get the Type A drone. I don't think the HE fuel, ammo and weapon range, I don't think that would actually affect the Gatling gun, so I won't get that, and generally I do like to get it, and I don't actually have the rocket or Jorian, so I don't think it will be as necessary, to be honest. We'll just keep upgrading the weapons as and when they get there. So initially I want to do a damage comparison here to see how the Gatling does against the other weapons that I'm using in this run, and then, as I say, I'll do an Ender's Echo challenge with so the kunai in one of my previous videos. I pit that up against the Light Chaser, and the kunai won. I think that the kunai is sort of really good against bosses, where the Light Chaser is better for trial modes and chapters. As you can see there, wow, just put this in the flower's face and bosses go down easily. So I would be really interested to see how this shotgun does against the kunai in the Ender's Echo. So that will be one of my future videos. Let's get the Guardian there. In fact, I'll get the gold game because it gives us the Evo upgrade of our Molotov, and let's get the Guardian there. Okay. And I'll also do a damage comparison between this weapon, the Gatling, and the Light Chaser in a chapter mode, because I have a feeling the Gatling may be able to rival the Light Chaser even in a chapter mode. I'm not 100% sure on that. I would be really interested to see, though. The only thing that this doesn't have is that the bullets don't pierce as much as a Light Chaser does. So as large crowds come, here we go, the fuel barrel. As large crowds come, the Light Chaser, the sort of key blasts that it fires away go through all the enemies, whereas the bullets here don't. But I think these would probably do more damage, so it would be still an interesting comparison to do. And we have a level up here. Let's just get the Guardian. Just trying to get everything else as leveled up as quickly as we can, just to try and keep the damage comparison as fair as we can. And we'll keep moving up. I think everything is pretty much dying before they can get that close to me here. So although I was saying that, I think quite a few below me are sort of moving into the fuel barrel's fire perhaps, but I think that the Guardian won't be doing too much. Even the drones that I have may not actually be getting too many kills in, so we'll have to see in the damage comparison at the end. But I can only imagine that the Gatling will be around 70% plus of all the damage, which, if it is really impressive, because the Light Chaser obviously doesn't usually get that one-sided damage, but we will see. Zombies incoming. I was still just sort of working my way up like this. I'm just trying to figure out what the best sort of movement is to try and optimize the damage output with this Gatling gun, whether it is moving up like that, or I suppose you could just spin in a circle like this. So not too sure what would be best. Potentially is this. I'd say that this way you're probably limiting the damage of the fuel barrel as you're stopping enemies getting closer. If you go up like this, then the enemies below will walk into the fire and the fuel barrel will get a bit more damage. But this way, I'm unsure. I mean, is anything else even able to hit anything on the map here? So I think the Gatling gun will be way ahead in terms of the total damage. I perhaps should have gone for weapons such as the Sharkmo gun or the Whistling Arrow. That may have been a more interesting comparison to sort of see what does the most damage, because those are generally quite high, whereas the ones I've got now usually aren't. Obviously the Destroyer can be, but that's again relatively short range, and I mean I haven't even got that yet, and we haven't even got many of the other Evo weapons, to be honest. So I think this will be a very one-sided affair, but obviously this is just a showcase of what the Gatling gun is and how to get it, because I've seen a picture or in a video of the Gatling gun, and I didn't actually realise it was the Shotgun Evo weapon. You wouldn't have expected it. I mean, every other weapon that you get Evo has some sort of relation to the weapon that it is being upgraded from, whereas this one is just totally different. So it's a really interesting idea that the devs have done to make the shotgun quite underwhelming, but then make the Gatling gun overwhelming, and it certainly is. It's a really good upgrade. Here we go, second boss assault incoming. Bosses are where it's really good, which is why I think the Ender's Echo would be an interesting comparison. As you can see there, it just dies pretty much instantly. The only thing that you have to be aware of, I suppose, is that you have to actually aim with the Gatling gun. It's not automatic like the kunai. Get lightning emitter there. I don't think it... Oh, I've got the fuel. I didn't even want the fuel. We'll get the lightning emitter. I chose too quickly. Let's get the attack up. And again, how many levels did I get? Wow. Supercell, so that's the lightning evo upgrade. We'll get the type B drone. And again, can't believe I got that many levels. Can't believe they're still going. And finally get the destroyer. Are we still getting levels? Wow. Let's get the movement speed. Let's walk a bit quicker. Let's get the energy cube just to get that max level as well. There we go. So yeah, you obviously do have to aim with the Gatling gun. So whether or not that could be sort of a downside of the weapon if you're facing bosses, let's just get the gold there, that where you have to sort of run away, the ones that charge at you, so you have to sort of move your character away from them. And you're not obviously doing damage if you're running away from a boss. So that, I suppose, is something to bear in mind, whereas the kunai is automatically locked on, and the light chaser, there's just that many projectiles on the screen that they would always be hitting the enemy anyway. I'll go for the force field here just because it's got the tech part, but again, as soon as I click that, I think, well, it's probably not going to get any damage at all. But it is what it is. I think I've already come to the realization that this Gatling gun is going to be right at the top in terms of damage. But I suppose here you can see when there's a lot of enemies, where the light chaser, the bullets would be sort of piercing all of them. The Gatling gun doesn't. It just hits the first couple. It may pierce one or two, I can't really tell, but it doesn't pierce them all. So it may not be as good once the enemy's health get higher, because you're only actually damaging the sort of frontline zombies, whereas obviously the light chaser would damage them all. So that is something to bear in mind. It would still show that the damage of the Gatling gun is probably very high, but again, this is exactly why I want to do a damage comparison between this and the light chaser within the same level, within the same chapter. So that is something that I will be doing, as well as the Ender's Echo. We'll just pick up a chest there from a mini boss. Although saying that, I don't think there's really many upgrades I still need. I think the only weapon we haven't got that high is the force field, but it's probably a bit too late for that to do any damage anyway, as well as nothing actually getting that close to me. My tactic here is to just start spinning around. I'll get the force field just to try and level it up, because why not? But pretty much as all the enemies are sort of closing in around me, my tactic here is to just spin. So I might speed this a little bit up. Wow, the enemies are actually getting relatively close. I'm not sure if they would if I was using the light chase. It'd be really interesting to compare how I would be doing. I mean, I don't actually feel in danger, because I think the fuel barrel does quite a lot once they get relatively close to me anyway. Plus, I've got the destroyer that's finally doing some damage as well. I mean, the Gatling gun may not be as good as I once thought at the start of this video. This is the first time I've sort of seen it. I don't know if it's struggling or not. But when there's too many enemies, it doesn't seem to actually pierce enough enemies to do damage when there is large groups. So it will be interesting to sort of see what the damage comparison is here, and both in the light chaser and in a future video. There we go. We are managing to just about survive. I can see a magnet here, so I'm just going to try and work my way towards that. I'll get the force field. I think I should get quite a few levels here, to be honest, as a relatively I've not managed to collect many of them, to be honest, so we'll just hopefully get a few upgrades. We'll manage to get a few of those before the final boss comes. I'm not sure really what these upgrades will do. I don't think they'll help too much, and in fact the last two are golden sports shoes, which I probably won't need to use. And here it is, the final boss, Steel Ganesha. So as you can see, when I'm not shooting, it doesn't really do much damage, but here we go, dead relatively easy. And let's get the damage comparison. So I'm still going to guess that the Gatling does around 70%. 44 is quite less than I thought. The fuel barrel and the destroyer, I suppose, they came more into effect at the end, and the supercell did quite a lot, and that wasn't even a tech part supercell, so that's really interesting. And no surprise with the guardian and force field, really short range, and didn't really get them until quite a bit later on. But Gatling gun, there it was, did 44%, which I suppose is still nearly twice as high as the second place. So it is worthy of some more comparisons, I believe. So that will be in future videos, but there it is, the shotgun. Still, I do think a pretty good weapon, and we'll see if it's going to be worthwhile using in chapters or Ender's Echo in future videos. But if you have enjoyed the content, if you have got this far, please do like or subscribe. It really does help me out, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks a lot.